Am I the asshole for opening a gift box in front of 50 guests at my mom's anniversary party after she called me a freeloader, when the box contained the keys to a $450,000 apartment I had been about to give her?
Welcome to Popcorn Marie's story. Today's story is about a woman who was kept down the poor home, calling a freeloader for years and raising up by her own family, only to return a decade later with a gift worth $450,000. What happens is pop all secrets. Jane's life. I left an entire speechless. Let's get started.
My stepfather shoved the box out of my hands before I could say anything. It wasn't a hard shove. More like a dismissal, the kind of thing you do to an object you don't want near you. The box hit the edge of the table and the lid shifted and I caught it before it fell. 50 people watched this happen. Then my mom said, "Nobody invited a freeloader to this party." I was still holding the box. Some background that my dad David died in a car accident when I was 16. He was careful and responsible, and he wore his seatbelt, and it didn't matter because the other driver ran a red light. I held it together for the funeral, and then I didn't hold it together for a while. 18 months after he died, my mom married Richard. Richard has a son named Derek who is a year older than me. When we moved into Richard's house, Derek got a bedroom with an ensuite bathroom. I got a room that had previously been used for storage. It still had shelves on 2 of the walls. The life insurance money my dad had left, I don't know the exact amount, but I heard numbers that suggested it was significant. Went into the household. It bought Derek a BMW for his 17th birthday. It paid for a country club membership. It did various things for various people, and none of those people were me. When I graduated high school at 18, Richard sat me down and explained that I was an adult now and that adults in his house contributed financially or found somewhere else to live. He used the word freeloader. My mom was in the room. She didn't say anything. I left that weekend with a duffel bag and a box of things I didn't want to leave behind. About a week later, my Aunt Patricia called me. Patricia is my dad's younger sister. She had been at the funeral and at the wedding, and she had always been quietly kind to me in the way. People are kind when they can see something is wrong but can't do much about it. She said my dad had left something for me. He had set up a savings account in my name. $47,000. He had done it quietly without telling my mom over the years. Money he had carefully set aside and put somewhere he knew she wouldn't touch because she didn't know it existed. He had given Patricia the account information and asked her to hold it for me until I needed it. So there was also a letter. I'm not going to quote the whole thing here, but part of it said that he knew things weren't always fair in our house and that he wanted me to have a head start that was mine and nobody else's. He said he believed in the person I was going to become. He said he hoped I would use the money to build something. I sat in Patricia's kitchen and read it 4 times. I moved to New York. I studied interior design at a program that took my portfolio seriously and asked hard questions. I worked evenings and weekends and summers. I got good at what I did. I started taking clients on the side. By the time I was 24, I had enough of a roster to consider doing it full-time. By 28, I run a company. We do residential and commercial design, high-end clients, projects in 3 cities. The kind of thing that gets written about occasionally in the publications that cover that world. My fiancé jokes that I work too much. He's probably right, but I come by it honestly in the 10 years since I left. My mom did not call once to ask how I was. I know from cousins and from people who drift in and out of family circles that she told people I was struggling. But I had never amounted to much. That I was sad, really. Last month I received an invitation to my mom and Richard's 15th wedding anniversary party. Formal, expensive venue, 50 guests. I know from the same family network that Richard's business has been having a difficult year. I don't know the details, but I know enough to understand why, after 10 years of silence. An invitation suddenly arrived. I decided to go. I also decided to bring a gift. About 8 months ago, I had purchased an apartment in Manhattan. A 2-bedroom, good building, good location. I had bought it as an investment, but I had been thinking, in a way I couldn't quite justify rationally, about giving it to my mom. Not because she deserved it, more because I thought maybe it could be a door. A way for her to leave Richard's situation if she ever wanted to. Something that was hers. I had the keys and the deed put in a box. I brought it to the party. I was standing in the entrance of the venue, still holding the box, when Richard walked over and shoved it out of my hands. Then my mom said what she said. Am I the asshole for what I did next? I'm still holding the box. 50 people are looking at me. My mom just called me a freeloader in front of everyone she knows. The box is right there. I could put it down and walk out. Or I could open it. I need someone to tell me honestly, is opening it the wrong move? Too long. Didn't read. Dad died when I was 16. Mom remarried. Stepfather used Dad's life insurance for his own family. Kicked me out at 18 calling me a freeloader. Dad had secretly set up a $47,000 savings account and left me a letter through my aunt. Built a career in NYC over 10 years, now run my own interior design company. Got invited to Mom's 15th anniversary party. Brought a gift box with keys and deed to a $450,000 Manhattan apartment I was going to give her. Got shoved and called a freeloader in front of 50 guests before I could say anything. Still holding the box. Am I the asshole if I open it? Edit. I opened it. Update coming out edit too. I also read the letter. The room is very quiet. Update tomorrow.
Honestly, I don't know what flows my mind more. Her mom having the nerve to call her a freeloader after 10 years of breathless silence, or she actually throwing up with the Gipor, I might have $1 million. The amount of maturity and restraints she have shown is unreal after being completely put aside watching her dad's money funds everyone else's life and getting kicked down the second she turned alien. Most people would have gossiped this family forever. But now the story feels like it's reaching a breaking point. The way her mom and Rich's in middles treated hers suggests they still believe she's the same struggling kid they got rid of years ago. What they don't realize is that she's holding something that could completely change the atmosphere of this room. The fact that she opens the box and even read her father's letters make me think a major storm is about to come out, and encouraged by how quiet the room became. I have a feeling this isn't going to end the way I would expect.
Terry put the box on the tables, not dramatically. I just set it down in the center, next to the floral arrangement, and I opened it. The keys were on top. Apartment keys, a building fob, and a small envelope with the address printed on it. Below that was the deed, folded, with my name listed as seller and my mom's name filled in as recipient. I had already had a lawyer prepare the transfer documents. I said, "This is what I came here to give you tonight." I said the apartment was in Manhattan. I said it was worth approximately $450,000 and that the transfer documents were in the envelope and that it would have been as free and clear. Then I said, "I was going to give this to you because I thought maybe you deserved the door out." I don't think that anymore. The room had gone quiet. In the way that rooms go quiet when something unexpected is happening and nobody is sure what they're supposed to do. I heard someone near the back say my name, my full name. Thea Myers, with a question in their voice. The way you say a name when you're trying to remember where you've heard it. Someone else had pulled out their phone. I told them what they would find if they searched. The company name, the projects, the coverage we'd gotten. Several people searched. Several people showed each other their screens. Richard was standing very still. Then I took out the letter. I had been carrying it in my bag. I hadn't planned to read it out loud. I had planned to give my mom the apartment and leave. But she had called me a freeloader in front of everyone she knew, and Richard had shoved the gift out of my hands, and I had made a different decision. I read it, and not all of it. The parts about the savings account. The parts about my mom. The parts where my dad, who had been careful and responsible and who wore his seatbelt and who it didn't matter for, had written down, in his handwriting, that he had seen what was happening in his own house and had done the only thing he could do. About it from where he was, I read the part where he said he was sorry he hadn't done more while he was alive. I folded the letter and put it back in my bag. I said, he put $47,000 in an account for me because he knew what would happen to the insurance money. He was right that my mom was not saying anything. Her face was doing things I didn't have the vocabulary for. 50 people were standing in a very quiet room. I picked up the box. I picked up my bag. I said good night.
I am completely blown away. That ending gave me literary shears. Finding out about the apartment was a massive treat on its own, but watching her pull out her dad's letter and read aloud to the entire room will draw traffic. The tensions among the guests must have been suffocating. It was also in Sansley Proj note that they probably felt awkward to speak there. But what really haunts me is her mom's absolute silence. It's felt irreally heavy and just devastating. You know, that's feeling when a family secret finally comes down and suddenly years of confusion start making sense? That's exactly what it's felt like, but all at the same time. I kept wondering what happened after they walked down. There's no way that those 50 people just went back to eating dinner or chatting like normal.
Date
The
one,
tension,
2 days.
the whisper, the question, Adward must have been unbelievable. Honestly, I feels like we all seeing the beginning of the fall while, and something tells me of the two is about to reveal consequences. Now this is coming.
Update 2. Finale consequences for Richard's business were fairly swift. 2 of the people at that party were professional contacts of his, people he was hoping to work with on a deal that was in ear. Last stages. Both of them sent emails the following week withdrawing from the conversation. I know this because a cousin mentioned it and because, honestly, it wasn't hard to predict. You can't have 50 witnesses to something like that and expect the professional community to stay quiet. Derek, from what I understand, has had his allowance significantly reduced. The business difficulties are real, and the money has to come from somewhere my mom has called 11 times. I know the number because I watched the calls come in without answering. She left for voicemails. I listened to 2 of them. The first was defensive. The second was crying. I have not called back. The apartment. I didn't keep it, and I didn't let the transfer go through. I had the lawyer revise the paperwork. The apartment now belongs to my Aunt Patricia. I called her and told her what had happened at the party and told her I had something I wanted her to have. She said I didn't need to do anything like that. I said I wanted to. She cried on the phone for a few minutes, and then she composed herself and said she was going to take very good care of it. Yes, she calls me every Sunday now. Sometimes we talk for 5 minutes, sometimes for an hour. She tells me things about my dad that I didn't know, small things, the way siblings know each other. The kind of information that isn't important but is irreplaceable. I had the letter framed that it's hanging in my office now, between the windows, in a frame I picked out because my dad would have liked the simplicity of it. I look at it sometimes when I'm on a call or when I'm reviewing something and I need a moment. He wrote, I knew you would find your way. I just wanted to make sure you had a head start. He was right that I would find it. He was right to make sure I had the start. My fiancé asked me last week if I was okay. I said I think so. He said that was a good answer. We went out for dinner somewhere nice and talked about things that had nothing to do with any of this. The company is doing well. We have a new project starting next month that I'm genuinely excited about. I am 28 years old. I left with a duffel bag and a box of things I didn't want to leave behind, and I built something. From a letter and $47,000 in 10 years of showing up every day's not the asshole, obviously, but the thing I keep returning to isn't the party or the box or reading the letter out loud. It's my dad sitting down at some point, maybe at the kitchen table, maybe late at night, maybe during one of the years when things were clearly not right in his house, and deciding to do the one thing he could still do. He couldn't fix it. He could prepare for it. That's the inheritance, not the money. The knowledge that someone saw me clearly and made a plan. I have it framed on my wall. Too long. Didn't read, opened the box, announced the apartment, said it would have been hers free and clear, then said I didn't think she deserved it anymore. Someone Googled me and showed people their screens. Read parts of my dad's letter out loud, the parts about the savings account, the parts about what he had known and done about it. Said goodnight and left. 2 of Richard's business contacts withdrew from a deal the following week. Mom called 11 times, left for voicemails. I haven't called back. Revised the apartment transfer paperwork, gave it to my Aunt Patricia instead. She calls me every Sunday. Framed the letter. It's hanging in my office between the windows. My fiancé took me to dinner and we talked about other things. The company has a new project next month. I'm okay.
So, into finishing the whole story, I realized that what makes his so hard isn't the apartment treats, the traumatic down, or the camera that's caught up with everyone. At its core, this was never actually a pity revenge story. It was a story about the deeply human need to finally be seen and understood. For years, TR was treated like she didn't matter. She lost her father, watched the people around her benefit from what he left behind, and a white banknote of her own home with the label Freeloader attached to her name. Yet, instead of letting bitterness divide her, she quietly builds a life for herself. That's what impressed me the most. While everyone else was busy underestimating her, she was doing the hard work of becoming successful. And honestly, the ending hits me right in the feeling. Not because Richards faced consequences, but because her mother finally realized what she had lost, but because of all Patricia's and a letter. There's something really emotional about knowing that her father showed what happening long before anyone else admitted it. He couldn't stay to protect her, but he found a way to help her, food her anyway. So in the end, the greatest inheritance wasn't the $47,000 or the apartment, is what confidence that came from knowing someone believed in her when nobody else did. And maybe that's why this ending feels so satisfying. She didn't win because she got revenge. She won because she became everything they said she never would be. So let me know what you guys think about this story, because I genuinely want to hear that if you enjoyed this story. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Pokemon Go Disari. And I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.